Hello players, my name is Redseven. We are currently deep into 0.11 and there is a lot to talk about regarding this beautiful patch. I came back to the game a bit disappointed after the ugly episode with Eroctic and I didn't think I was going to play too much EFT. I was level 42 or so when I came back and the patch 0.11 was already live. So I fired up the game, updated and started inspecting the new things. New beautiful vests, the HK, some redesigned pieces of equipment, new trading items and a bunch of new missions. The curiosity caught me immediately and I said to myself, what a best way to start all over again. So I wiped the profile and started from scratch. I always like new beginnings and think the game has a beautiful, meaningful goal when combining normal gameplay with completing tasks and with PvP and exploring or discovering of new things. I could never only play against other players for more than, let's say, 2 weeks or so. For me, the game was dead after level 40. And from the comments I read on this channel and from listening to other creators, I saw I was not the only one with this issue. So the excitement for discovering all those new things caught me once more and to my surprise I found life in EFT again. Now I am almost level 45 and I want to talk a bit about this adventure of mine and share some of the goods and the bads with you, with the devs maybe, and give some feedback back and who knows, maybe some suggestions or ideas. First of all, props on the devs for this beautiful current patch. 0.11 has a lot of new content and I am sure they put a lot of effort and work into it. Also, the labs is such a beautiful map, right? The game is a lot of fun. We saw a lot of streamers coming back to the game and dedicating quite a lot of time to it. However, during my level 1 to 40 adventure, I found some issues, some dilemmas that I really want to point out with the hope that a better balance will be made in the future and this way make this game even better than it is. One of the biggest issues I had was the conflict between the way I was playing the game and the completing of missions and finding other players and discovering or finding new things required for tasks. Let's explain a bit. So basically I found out that the best way of doing some of the missions, not all of them, was by playing naked, and this was totally wrong for me. Although we all like the from zero to hero adventures and we all enjoy going butt naked on the map and come with plenty of goods and brag to our friends with how well we did, there is a lot of gear in your stash that you want to play with, right? You feel sorry for keeping all that good loot in your stash and not being able to play with it intelligently. But you can't use it because you have to quickly rush labs to find that vertex or VPX or LADX or whatever that ends with X, and the best way to do it is going naked. You don't want to be caught in the middle there with your new shiny tan MP7 for example, because you are doomed no matter what armor or helmet you have on. Once the raiders are in the game, they somehow spam perfect grenades on you, they rush you in packs and murder you with those strangely accurate headshots, which remind me a lot of Arma 3 bots. Yeah, they were also very OP. And there are also other players you have to fight with because they look for the same resources or they simply want to murder you. Even when you go with your squad, you get murdered there in the middle because there are just too many points to cover and there is not too much cover for you. This also happens on other maps. You simply cannot stop and loot a dozen of cabinets just like that while being fully geared because you can get wrecked immediately by a guy with only a TT in the hands or whatever. So there is a conflict here that I don't know how it can be properly and entirely solved. Yes, there is the flea market as an alternative and some other options that I will talk about a bit in order to try to help other players going through the same situations, but the issue is there and needs some attention. The first option we have, the flea market, is the way to go nowadays and everyone is using it, but have you wondered where almost all these items come from? Well, from players, right? I keep the flea market as my backup option, as the last option. I want to find the stuff for myself and explore and don't give a damn about spending more time in leveling up. I've been watching some videos on how to find rare stuff or rare loot, for example, on the labs and some other maps. And I do not like that type of gameplay, you know, like jump from here there and go check that spot and then the other one and then come back and watch out for the raiders and be careful with that stuff, you know. I mean, I respect that because it's a help for the new player, definitely, but I want to be free and move freely on the map and do my own thing, right? This game is more than just killing people, and that discovering of things, that exploring and searching gives the game a goal and makes it fun for us, the explorers. Other mates of mine rely almost entirely on the flea market when it comes to completing tasks and even buying gear and weapons, but I don't. Now the problem here is, what do you do when you don't have enough money to buy 3 VP access from the flea market? I mean, 3 million rubles for 3 items is a lot of money, right? The price could be different, just giving this as an example, so if you think to correct me on this, just stop, it's just an example. You are at the beginning and you want to save some stuff for some money for that junk box, right? Well, then you have to find those items yourself, and here the issue with going geared on a raid doesn't make too much sense because of what I explained just before. There are other missions that require your presence on the map, like killing scavs and using a certain weapon or planting some devices and so on. So you have to be there, distracted somehow from PvP, because you have to complete those tasks. So how to do this properly? Is there a way to balance this and max out your success in the raid and come out with the max that you can? I had these questions during all my gameplay session because I wanted to be effective and also wanted to have fun while playing the game. Now, there are ups and downs with the options I am going to present, but here is what I found out. Going naked works a lot of times when finding rare stuff. You have the speed and you will get to the objective first, but you are extremely vulnerable. And you will probably not last long on the map. You get what you want, if you find it, and if you know the map and the spawn location, or you plant wherever you need to plant, and there you're free, unless you have to exit without dying. Some of us do this with some light gear on us. I saw a lot of streamers doing this and kill some scavs on the way out or some players, and that's that, you're out. Mission done. But the issues here are all that beautiful gear that you have in the stash and you being very vulnerable while running butt naked on the map. Then there is the second option I hear a lot from veterans, and I quite like this one as well, but I don't have enough patience to put it to work. Back then, when I was kinda new to the game, I watched a video from DevilDog, I believe, and he was playing Factory. He spawned in and said, let's just wait for a moment, and after they kill each other, then I will proceed and do my thing. I found it very stupid back then and very cowardly, but the more I played the game and the more I thought about it, it made more sense for me. Now, I am not the best player out there, actually I'm being very far from that. So a strategy like this one is actually not bad. I talked to players who are or were rear soldiers, and some of them told me the same. Someone said, I don't get into the resort until I see that there are only like 20 minutes remaining from the raid. And when I go, I approach tactically and listen and move slow, and my survival rate is such and such. Not bad, I like stuff like that, but as said before, I don't have enough patience to apply this, and there is another down point to this approach. By the time you reach the objective, there is nothing there for you to loot or to find. It has been taken already. So you see, there are ups and downs everywhere. The other approach is to go and raid with your teammates and complete tasks together. A very solid approach. Your buddies will protect you while you plant or while you loot, and you will protect them. We do this a lot of times. The problem here is that you have to share kills with them and stuff with them, so although it raises your chances to survive, it decreases your effectiveness. So what should we do? Can this somehow be improved, or it is just like that and we have to accept it for now? Well, I believe that in the future it will be a bit easier due to uniting some of the maps and opening other points of interest. And also by balancing the loot economy. We are at the end of the day in a testing phase where all the things that are somehow unbalanced are being tweaked and worked on, so we should give BSG some time to do the work that's needed. Right now, increasing the locations of the rare loot could be a temporary solution for the issues we just discussed. This will add a balance on the flea market, making prices more reasonable, and will help us using more of the equipment from the stash, because we will know we won't have to rush that much because there are multiple spawn locations and I could get lucky by checking all of them. The other situation I want to mention is some of the missions being in the wrong place in the quest timeline. I believe that the Mosin tasks, for example, should start more at the beginning of the game, where you get the chance to play with low gear like the Mosin and can perform tasks without struggling too much. Combining business with pleasure is something we all struggle for, and right at the beginning this could be a lot of fun. Same with those low gear missions from Skier and Peacekeeper, where you have to kill players while wearing a certain equipment. By the time you unlock these missions, everyone has pretty good armor, and killing 15 PMCs with only a shotgun is not that easy on big maps. Now, I know that challenging is fun, but it also adds a lot of frustration, so I think that more towards the beginning of the questing life, the timeline, these missions will make more sense and could be part of your daily job, so to speak. So right now, for example, I got to strip my fully geared guy and go with UN gear and kill Ironmans on different maps, which is not very pleasant. What should I do with the gear that I have on the stash, so you may say. But the major issues I had so far, and this brings me to the final point of the video, are the inconsistencies the game still has, which are very frustrating and bring more deaths to the player than the bad decisions he takes during gameplay. What do I mean by this? Well, the sometimes broken connections between server and client, the hitching and stutterings, FPS droppings and other such issues are still present, are a major obstacle in making this game better and the gaming experience more pleasant. The game is playable and fun, don't get me wrong, but some of the raids, some servers are so bad sometimes that you die because of technical issues and not because what you did or what you didn't do. There is also this sudden freeze exactly while starting a battle, and you find yourself frozen in time exactly in front of the raider or player you need to take down and end up dead before you get the chance to react or fight back. These issues need to be corrected before OBT or before release because it is not fun to play the game in such conditions. Apart from these issues, my level 1 to 40 adventure was very pleasant, and I must admit that EFT is very addictive. There is always that mission more that you want to do, or that item that you definitely need before you go to sleep. So again, props to the devs for delivering such tier 1 content. An awesome map, very challenging raiders, sometimes a bit OP, but yeah, that's another subject, and beautiful new weapons. Now let's get rid of those nasty stutters and improve the connection between client and server and keep going up with the customer service. I really hope that after this lesson Nikita learned to respect everyone, no matter what they look like or no matter what they say about the game, also be impartial when it comes to supporting the community. Thank you for watching, and thank you patrons for supporting me. Dutch EFT players, go and check CFX's channel for EFT tutorials and infos, link in the description below. Kids, do not forget that life is not only gaming, practice and improve those real life skills as well. Conquering a girl is a lot more fun than killing the raiders, for example. And the rewards cannot be compared. Believe us, the vets, we know what we are talking about. We did them both, and we definitely prefer the first variant. So, see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace.